Okay guys, so yes, I am working full steam ahead on the greenhouse, but when I get time to fill in, I've been out here and this is going to be the future garden. Now if you can see, I've got this squared off and I've got a point right there, that blue barrel, the white barrel. We come up here, I've got that cone right there all the way over to this cone right here. I've got it squared off. This is 2,700 square feet. And what I've got going on here is I've got this space squared off, and I can easily put 2 more of these squares, the same amount of space, up this hill. By the time I get to the top of the hill, I can have to change my layout a little bit, but I think I could probably get a 4th one in there. And even if I can't, future plans, we want to, right up here on top of this hill, we got another spot where we want to do some gardening stuff. And if I can basically utilize that entire area over however long it takes, that will be an easy, solid 1/4 acre of land that I have set up and ready to go for garden area. Now I got a lot of work. I haven't even started on this. All I have is just an area that's squared off, but I'm getting things moving on it. And my whole approach out here is I've kind of forced myself to like basically do something or get off the pot really, because we took down our spot where we had a garden last year because we just got tired of looking at it. It was kind of it was a clutter zone. It just looked trashy. And you know, last summer we had the masticator out here. This was nothing but just a field of brush. And you know, from day one when we moved on this place, the ultimate goal was this whole area was going to be our garden. Oh, Rivy, put that back in the house, in the greenhouse. This whole area was going to be our garden. That was the goal from day one. And it was one of those things where I was starting to think this is never going to happen. But then we got the masticator out here, and all these things that we had been planning for years is finally like starting to come to a point where we're just going to kick the door open and go from 0 to 100 like all at once. Now what I want to do out here, and I've spent a lot of time thinking about this, but I mentioned in my 2020 goals video that I was going to do raised beds. And you know, once I started putting a pencil to everything and dollar prices, it was just like, it's impractical. And you know, and for me to utilize this space to the maximum capacity that I can, the most efficient use of this space possible, what I want to do is approach this as a market garden kind of approach. So I've got the Curtis Stone book and the John Martin Fortier, the Market Garden and the Urban Garden. And you know, I've kind of skimmed through both those books. I need to read them a lot in more detail, but I'm basically going to take those approaches and put them to use out here. First and foremost, the idea is I need to just feed the family, cut down the grocery bill, but I want to approach it in a professional, business-like approach, because you know, really, if I can make money doing this, before my dad started calling me Farmer G, he was always calling me G Money. So I'm just working with the land here, guys. Right over here, this is the property line. There's my parents' place right there. And what I've done is come from the fence over 30 feet. And I came over 30 feet because I felt like that was a good point. I don't know if you can see that string there. That was a good point to go with the lay of the land. So I kind of keep it before it starts to go over off that little slope there. So I have a perfect, you know, I'm not walking over an edge anywhere. So I took this as my constant, that's my baseline. And then from there I did all my measuring. So first thing first is I gotta find square. Now right here, this is my shortest point, this whole field of the usable space, this is my shortest span from where I started. So that's kind of where I went. I took this and then I was like, okay, how do I figure this part out? So that whole run is 62 feet. So that whole run is 62 feet. So to find square, you take the 3, 4, 5 method, and I figured 62, let's go with 60. I can divide it by 4. So 60 divided by 4 is 15. So I figured I'd multiply everything by 15 and come out with my numbers. So that's how I did it. I've got 60 feet going across, and then right here is 45. So we got 45 going this way, and then I measured from that point all the way to that point right there, and that's 75. So once I found that, then I basically just did it in reverse, and got my 75 feet from there to there. And then double check everything. This is 45, that's 45, 60 and 60. I'm square. So from this year, don't get me wrong, greenhouse is top priority. I am like dead set focused on that. But when I can find a few minutes here and there, I'm gonna start tinkering away at this. And you know, I wanna at least get like 4 beds in here. I think that's a good number because I can use cattle panel to block that off for the time being, and that'll get us through the year for a little family garden, hobby garden. You know, I know the whole market garden versus family garden, those are two completely different beasts. You know, it's all about production and profit versus what do I want to eat kind of stuff. But I'm still gonna take that approach, even if it's just for a family kind of thing, because I want to think big picture with this. You know, because if I can get to that point, that's what I'm gonna shoot for. So anyway, we got the greenhouse going. I'm gonna have to do the aquaponic stuff in the greenhouse. We got this going. There's gonna be a lot of stuff happening here real fast. But anyway, this is gonna be, I gotta get moving on this here pretty quick, or this is not gonna be a garden. But I figure I can at least do 4 beds. I can cover it with cattle panel for the time being, and that'll get us through the year. And then I chip away at this all winter. But I wanna be growing something year round, and it's time to maximize this place. I got the potential, I got the opportunity, I got to take it for all it's worth. So thanks for checking in with me, guys. Lots more to come on this.